Welcome to episode 3 of Well, That Went Well. Coming up tonight, the twink in me has died.
We'll also be talking about this, where they were just going, what do they like? Yeah, chips? Well, we can't play chips, let's play Wonderwall. Maybe falling out over this.
And it's like, oh, well, that's bad for landlords. Well, landlords have been doing all right for a while. And also a little bit of this.
If I was you, I want this to be in the final edit, but I'd get your lawyers on this and then just that much of whatever the next... Yeah,
well, that went well.
Yeah.
Hello.
That was the least formal, presenterly way you could have gone with it. Just hello.
Yeah. Hello. Well, it's nice and friendly. It's just a friendly chat.
It was really nice. You said it to me though. Like, yeah, there's.
Oh, hello as well. But I'm talking to you, Geoff. Hello. How are you?
That was genius because you're giving people the sense that they're dropping in on something.
Yeah. We're at the pub. Yeah. Hi. Yeah. Of course you can take a seat.
So this is a show that's going out every Friday in July. It's our first series. Should we call it that? Season? No, that's wanky.
It's not a season, it's a series. Yeah. It's an experimental series. And I have to say the experiment is going pretty well.
It could mutate. It could grow a second head or a third head.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going all right. And the thing is, if people watch, if they share, they hype, they subscribe, the bell, whatever the fuck these things are, it'll put us in a strong position where we can expand it. We could take it to like some of these places that do the podcast. Your mate
Lineker. I reckon I could go to Lineker. I've met Lineker.
I bet you could.
Me and Lineker, scissor sisters.
Absolute cigarette paper between your belief systems. But can I just be clear? I have made some Lineker jokes over the years. Yeah. I'm not like a full-on, like one of those hate-filled guys. I think if he was to do due diligence on me, there might have been some Remainer-led jokes at Lineker's expense.
I don't think he seems that thin-skinned.
He might not be. I would say men on the centre-left can sometimes be a little bit,
What are you saying?
Prickly?
Well, he came to see my last live show, and the opening of it, was several jokes at his expense.
Oh, well, that's nice.
And my dad, very proud dad, was sat in front of him and was like, he was laughing away. And then at the end, I do redeem it because I think Gary is a prime example of a champagne socialist. And I don't think I think people who drink champagne are exactly the sort of people
you want to hang around with those
socialist.
people. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I was making a reasonable political point there, Geoff.
Sorry, mate. Sorry. But I think
let's take it to Lineker.
Let's take it to Lineker and just replace me. If he says yes, you, no, me.
Me and Gary.
Yeah.
My kudos would go. It's difficult to know if it would go up or down.
No, I think that's a much bigger audience than I provide. Right. On that note, the Q&A episode went out, the first one, in the middle of the week. I think it's clear and it's fair for me to say that the vast majority of people watching this are fans of yours. And I got, because I have another podcast.
Did you get some shit?
We don't talk about my other podcast. But I got some shit. Well, people were a bit, I would say, astonished at my love and respect for David Cameron. There was many comments.
Well, yeah, there's a few comments about that.
Yeah.
I've only picked one of them, but this is one of them. Fucking hell, Geoff. Cameron ... which basically sums up about 1,000 comments, and actually quite a few people going, yeah, I'm with you on Brown, but yeah, so they're clearly on my side, not yours.
There's definitely a bit of that. What I would say is I hope I alluded to the idea that I knew it was almost like a weird sexual kink. I knew it was weird to say, right? It's like I got a thing for posh guys, all right, who seem to know what to do, even if they might
even
not
if
know.
they don't do what. Yeah. We've been here before, haven't we?
As we said,
but you laughed at me saying Brown.
I did,
yeah.
Well, but then was it representative? If you asked the British people as a whole, would
if
they
you ask
share
the
that
British
view?
people as a whole, technically right now they want Nigel Farage to be Prime Minister, so I would take what they say with a pinch of salt. Should we get on with some comments?
This centre-left, you hate democracy.
All right. This is what I love about debate, because we've had loads of people going, I agree with Tomathan. It's a thing now. I agree with Tom. Thanks for that. I agree with Tomathan about Christopher Nolan. Loads of people agreeing with about Christopher Nolan. And then some other guy, that Nolan take is nuts. Best director of all time. And that's what I like, that there's a bit of debate about it, but no one's going home angry.
Could I just say on that note, I am particularly proud we're doing this show at this point in time when, let's say, the political temperature is what it is.
Yeah.
This is deeply fucking unfashionable for two blokes to sit and disagree. So I think, well done us.
Yeah, I didn't really get that, because I think this is a normal conversation, right? You agree with about things you don't. But loads of comments about like, oh my God, this is actually quite
refreshing.
Subversive.
I
Weird. Although one guy did say, I think this has got to be ironic. This is from Mr. D 1003. Keep pushing those boundaries. I think he's taking the piss, isn't he?
Well, look, we both admitted in the first episode that we are drifting towards centrist dad. I would say that there are people that are watching this that are tolerating me. And I think that a tolerant society is one that we want to live in.
Yeah, but us lefties, we're all about tolerance, which I've always found that word tolerance to be a really, it's about what you just tolerate gay people, do you? What you just tolerate non-white people. I've always found it a really strange word, tolerance.
But it's also very English in that I would say that applies to a lot of things, doesn't it? You tolerate family holidays.
You tolerate cycle lanes, don't you? You tolerate,
But that's what I mean. They tolerate, I guess the point is tolerate things that I don't really like. I accept your point.
So I tolerate the fact that we're a multicultural city. Suggests that I fucking hate the idea, and I wish they'd all go back to where they came from. Don't clip that out of context.
Yeah, no, do not. I once had a point, though, about, someone was saying, there was a survey a while ago and it said, are you okay with gay people kissing in public? And there was a surprisingly high, not a majority of people that said that they weren't okay with it. I thought, that's disappointing. But then I also thought, I don't want to see anyone snog in public. It's the worst thing to witness.
Lesbians?
Listen,
come on, man.
Everything has loopholes. But the point is, on that note, it's like tax avoidance, isn't it? It's like most people think it's terrible unless they're personally involved. I'd say snogging is the same.
Don't avoid tax in public.
Yeah.
Particularly on public transport.
What's your company I've got to invoice again, by the way?
My company?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you that.
Outed.
Where did you get that prisoner T-shirt from? What is on Tomathan's T-shirt? I should have done that the other way around. The prisoner. Have you ever seen The Prisoner?
Oh, do you know what? So I saw that comment. I thought they were insulting your T-shirt, saying that's the kind of T-shirt a prisoner
would wear. No, it was from the TV show The Prisoner, and my dad bought it for me on a trip to Port Merion, which is where it's set. You don't remember? With a big white ball chasing Patrick McGowan?
Yeah, I was watching Swap Shop.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't watch it when it was out. I watched it at university, probably stoned, and then rewatched it more recently, not stoned, and it's pretty poor.
Still watching Swap Shop. I would say recently I went on a deep dive of old Sooty and Sweep clips on TikTok.
Right, this is controversial.
Yeah.
Best comedy performance creation of all time, Sweep. Never not funny, cute,
hilarious,
wonderful, crying with laughter. I recommend it. Go on YouTube and find the best of Sweep. You will shit yourself.
Do you know what? Because I had a bit on it in my tour show, which I was saying there was a hilarious bit where Sweep says he's going to go and run around the flat, and then Sue, the absolute mood hoover, by the way, what a toxic woman she was.
Yeah,
and then
awful.
So eventually he gets his ear caught. It's so funny, because you can tell what Sue says is going to transpire, and then he gets his ear caught and he's really distressed. But it's just funny to see him with his optimism, and then his dream gets crushed.
I remember that bit in your show, and I remember thinking, must remember this bit because I'm really enjoying it. Because at the end when you've got to meet your mate afterwards and go, love that bit about, and it was almost like the bit about Sweet was good.
Yeah,
the rest of it was awful.
Didn't mean me, and fucks off before it finished, but whatever.
Right, a couple more, and then we can move on. You need aircon in that room. Someone spotted. I don't know if we can just play a clip of us having to stop last week's episode because we just were boiling our tits off.
It's so
fuck me, it's sweaty, isn't it?
Is it?
It's fucking sweaty.
I just want people hate watching sweaty people on camera.
There was some interesting comments actually about that discussion that we had about money. But DLMP prods, I said that wrong. That cash machine feeling is pretty profound. Finally got myself a career in my 40s and I occasionally get that feeling. What if the card says no? I realise I can't remember the last time it said no, but I still worry about money, but I loathe that feeling.
Somebody
and then someone else
grew up on a council. That's a council estate feeling.
Yeah. Well, they don't have cash points on council estates, surely. That's pretty up there.
Well, they do, but it's because they've been stolen and stored there.
Aaron 39965 on the same subject. I shouldn't feel this way, but as soon as I heard the phrase "I love money," I had to fight the urge to turn this off. I can't explain it. It's illogical. It proper wound me up. I think that alludes to the conversation that you were saying that I was apologising for sort of having got a mortgage and stuff. And I think it was weird the other week being able to admit, it was like I was admitting something to you. Go, no, I do enjoy not being poor anymore. But I do understand that instinct, that it felt a bit gross.
I find that bizarre, but if you are sort of left-wing, and I'm your first right-wing quasi-friend, I could be that trustworthy friend where we can just meet up in secret and you can say, I quite like having money.
Yeah.
Dirty little secret. It's so funny to me that people are uptight about that, but don't switch off. I mean, look, if there's any safe way to get outside your echo chamber, it's me. The moment you go a bit further than me, it gets a bit more challenging, I would say.
It does, yeah. Finally, this is how much you're all enjoying the show. This is from Backslap88. These episodes are rubbish, pal. I subscribe to Jonathan Pye, the news reporter, not a podcast. This isn't what I'm looking for. I don't watch this shit. The best days are over for Jonathan Pye. So,
isn't it? I mean, it's weird, isn't it? Because you can kind of like put that, because majority are good, but they do, sometimes you go, well, you know.
Do you know what I find is weird is when someone, you have that opinion, you've listened to a podcast, you haven't enjoyed it, you're not going to tune in next week, actually you thought it was pretty shit. To wish to expel the calories, go... I'm gonna let them know that.
It's like when people say like, "Oh, I thought you were better than that." They always say that, and I'm going, "Well, I'm not." And also, you're not my parent, so that's the only person or favourite teacher. Your view of what I am, or whether or not you disappointed me, doesn't matter. But can I tell you something about that guy? He's definitely watching this week.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Guaranteed.
And he's just heard me talking. He used to yeah. Because he got the reaction.
Okay, it is now time for this week's Half-Arsed Monologue. So this is the Half-Arsed Monologue. Just to be clear, the Half-Arsed Monologue is written in the short period leading up to the show. There is no real editing.
A short period could be a week. You've been working on this a week.
No, I haven't been working this a week. So I had a quick sketch out yesterday, and then on the train down, I had another look at them. I mean, compared to if I was writing for a topical show, I would do like 3-4 edits. There's no quality control here. That's the
but
point.
also, presumably you get paid for that. You're not getting paid for this. Oh, there was another comment where you go, "Oh, of course you're not doing it for the money."
We're doing it for the minus money at this point.
At the moment, still minus money. Please
minus money.
Subscribe.
Please.
Carry on.
So, and also this week, producer Will, he's going to be assessing your responses to whether you like them, you're in the middle, or you fucking hated them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from this point on, we should have a rolling tally, and at the end, you go whether you're a shit comedian or a good comedian.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm comfortable.
Just have
with
some
that.
jeopardy for you, Geoff.
There's plenty of jeopardy. I mean, I'm doing it to an audience of one.
Yeah.
Keir Stamer delivered his final PMQs on Wednesday. At the end, Rachel Reeves burst into tears because now the only adenoidal bollocks she'll hear is her own.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, I just wanted to slam both of them.
It's fine.
I don't know if it fully makes sense, to be honest.
No, but I know where you're going. This is weird because I've written something down that I thought was amusing that I read this week, and it's about that. Let me see if I got it. Yeah, this is on the BBC website, and I reckon they're trolling her by the way they've written this sentence. It goes, this was talking about his final PMQs. Chancellor Rachel Reeves, who was at Sir Keir's side on the front bench as usual, appeared close to tears. But the way you read it, Chancellor Rachel Reeves, who was at Sir Keir's side on the front bench as usual, appeared close to tears. So,
I mean, there's the point where the comma really matters.
Yeah. So I thought that they were trolling her, but it's basically the same joke. Yeah,
I'm just saying she cries, he's shit. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Kemi Badenoch showed a softer side during Stamer's last time at the dispatch box. This week, only 6 of the people she looked at suffered immediate cardiac arrests.
Yeah, I like that.
See, it's weird because that was a similar principle to last week.
It was just better written.
I think you liked immediate cardiac arrest.
No, shall I tell you what I liked? Is although it was a slightly gross image, Kemi Badenoch's softer side.
Yes.
It's just like, oh, did I actually feel something there?
I like strong women. Let's leave it at that. Andy Burnham fought back against charges he's evading scrutiny by having a cosy chat with his football hero, Gary Lineker. Next, he'll be cross-examined by Deborah Meaden, followed by 10 tricky questions from his best mate, Barry. Best mate Barry, there's a good alliteration there, I think.
The problem with that is, should I tell you what the problem
was?
was?
That'll be a no, Will. Put that one down as a no.
No.
Yeah.
I knew where it was going, but because you're very specific with the other ones, best mate Barry, my initial thought was like, which Barry is he talking about? And then you go, oh no, it's just his mate.
Well, when I did that joke on social
rewrite.
media, I'll be honest, I said the guy that sits next to him at Everton. Was that a funnier iteration?
That would have worked better, because the guy that means random bloke.
Gotcha.
Whereas his best mate could have been, you could be talking about a Labour donor that I don't know about or something. So it was confusing. So that's a no, Geoff.
Also, apparently, that's fine. Apparently, Deborah Meaden actually doesn't like Burnham either. So it falls down on a number of.
I've had an argument with Deborah Meaden before.
Have you?
And it's really annoying. You know, when you sort of you dig in and then she fires back and dig, and then. And I quite like Deborah Meaden, really. I want her to like me.
Did she say I'm out?
But I wish she had. I can't remember what it was about. It was several years ago, but I'm sorry, Debbie.
This is the thing about
Debbie.
Yeah,
she'd fucking hate that, wouldn't she?
Debbie Meads. Donald Trump stepped back from a suggested 20% tariffs on shipping lanes in the Strait of Hormuz. Not to be humiliated, the president said his troops will board each vessel and claim everyone's nectar points.
Can I be honest with you?
I thought you'd like that.
No. Can I be honest with you? I wasn't listening.
That's fair. That happens.
Do it again?
No. The Odyssey premiered this week to high anticipation. People were mainly excited that there's finally a big movie without Timothy fucking Chalamet.
Yeah, I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
I pitched that to you, really. I mean,
You did question me. The thing is, the problem with Timothy Chalamet is, in recent years, I've started to understand the hype, and therefore therefore.
See, you did a left-wing thing there, was that you liked it because you liked the principle without finding it funny. So that was like the
welcome to left wing. Welcome to my raison d'être.
Clapter.
Yeah, it's the Stuart Lee. He was right. He was really right, but not funny.
Do people know about that? The principle of clapter. So the charge against certain left-wing comics was that they would say a thing that would go for somewhere between applause and laughter. So it's clapter. You heard that one?
No, I mean, I certainly, my first few live shows was definitely more like agree along.
Yeah.
And now I have much more fun actually writing jokes and making it funny.
Please call a show Agree Along. That's such a brilliant title for something.
Jonathan Pye's Agree Along.
Circle Jerk Week.
Yeah.
I mean, also, in the comments, what do right-wing comics do? I've just said that the clapter thing, and the obvious thing is, trans.
Nazi salutes.
They
always do trans.
But tell us, what do right-wings comics... Oh, the other one is, I'll probably get cancelled for this.
Yeah, and then they can get away with murder. Yeah.
A Netflix special. Argentina knocked England out of the World Cup and their players unveiled a banner staking a claim to the Falklands. In fairness, it was a more effective claim to the territory than their ground assault in 1982. That's probably the most jingoistic right-wing joke I've done on the show so far.
That's the sort of joke I'd expect to come from you before I got to know you.
That's such a specific criticism. Like,
you know what I mean?
Wow, I felt like my favourite teacher just came into the room.
But also, what I do like is, and it's typical sort of football fanny stuff, is you sort of go, actually, to be fair, we did win that war, and they just won a game of sport. So I think we still win, right?
Look,
did you see Keir Stamer's tweet about this yesterday, which was suddenly on the day he's leaving, you go, if you'd have done that once a week, something that funny and smart and
populist,
he might still be there. It was a great response. Check it out.
Well, look, all I'm saying is I am emotionally hurt by Argentina winning. My son was upset, so I am lashing out at something that happened 44 years ago,
in which people died.
There is that.
Simon Weston had his face blown off.
Okay.
So that you could have a fucking laugh.
All right, point taken.
Unbelievable.
Let's talk politics. Everything else is politics, G. Okay, we sort of drifted into politics and Keir Starmer at the end there. So Keir Starmer, he's gone.
Well, he's Prime Minister.
Till Monday?
Yeah, so he's Prime Minister, he's just not leader of the Labour Party.
He's not leader of the Labour Party, so that happening on Friday. Andy Burnham pickpocketed his job on live telly, but everyone gave him lots of nice rounds of applause. So
it was a fucking heist, wasn't it? It's a coup. It's one of the most seamless coup d'etats ever.
Yeah. And it must be, I was thinking like how gaslit Keir Starmer must be feeling as he's literally changing over his council tax, having to change his addresses, going, why are they all like they kicked me into political orbit.
Yeah.
But we will come to Burnham in a sec. But I want to take time to reference Keir Starmer's legacy. So the question is, in terms of his legacy, what are Keir Starmer's bangers? Does he have any bangers, like absolute home runs? Well, I mean, these are all oxymorons. Keir Starmer and the idea of smashing something into oblivion.
Well, I've made a list, Geoff. All right, because I do feel Keir Starmer politically was really shit. Mm-hmm. Giving what's his tits the ambassadorship was ridiculous.
Mandelson.
I mean, that was a massive mistake. Obviously, they started with the fucking winter fuel thing, which I think we mentioned it last week that something had to be done about the winter fuel allowance. It's the manner in which they did it. And it's that hubris from Keir Starmer going, well, I know I'm right, and therefore it doesn't matter how one announces it. So politics-wise and messaging, one of the worst premierships I've witnessed.
Well,
I've witnessed trust.
I had that on my list was winter fuel. But
I'm sorry, I'm taking it.
No, that's fine. I quite like the fact that in trying to say something good he did, you've already mentioned one.
Well, no, because I know what my fucking fan base is like, and if I go straight in with the good stuff, they'll go, "What about?" But that's actually why you're here to "What about" me, isn't it?
Balance. But what's a good thing that he did? Unequivocally good,
Bear with me.
Did well even.
Well, all right. Immigration. Mm-hmm. They've done quite well on immigration. in quite a short space of time. It does feel like they're moving in the right direction, and it is the hot potato, right? Net migration is down, and it's not because all these fucking billionaires are leaving. Actually, I think emigration has dropped as well. So net migration has gone down. They have, let me have 32% increase in foreign national offender deportations.
Fair play.
Fair play.
That's
reasonable.
Can I say about the overall figures is, my dear Rishi, okay, now I'm going to get even more pushback.
Yeah.
A lot of that was because of stuff that he brought in at the back end, right? And also, this is how hilariously inept the Tories were at communications towards the end, is a lot of that spike came from Hong Kong, Ukraine, and a post-COVID bottleneck of immigration. The fact that the Tories weren't able to make that argument just sort of suggests how exhausted they were in their late stage.
But if there is one person, apart from Farage, because I think Farage has a lot to do with, Brexit has a lot to do with the immigration problems that we have, right? That's a reasonable thing to say. Leaving the Dublin Agreement was a problem.
There weren't that many returns under it, though. That's the only problem. I understand that argument.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But under Boris Johnson, immigration in this country became out of control.
How funny is it, right? Given what he came into power for, it's called the Boris wave.
Yes.
It reminds me, in Kingpin, when they say he goes back to that place to do some bowling and somebody fails and they call it a Munson. And he goes, why do they call it a Munson? They're like, oh yeah, striking out, failing, generational loss. Boris's
wave.
Boris wave. It's named after him. He's not going to get away from that.
Well, but it's fucking true, isn't it? But anyway, I just thought I'd go in with the juicy immigration shit, because I know all your fans are all sort of,
Yeah, there's two of them in the comments right now. Absolutely confounded.
British Steel protected, Hereditary Peers Act. I don't know what you think about that, but that is a promise.
But he's also, I agree that was overdue, but he also was sort of against the Lords and then has done a record number of new Lords as well.
Yeah, but everyone does a record number of new laws. But I think hereditary peerage is being kicked out. And so finally you do have an upper chamber. Well, I'm sure one day we can talk about the House of Lords. I weirdly had a tour of the House of Lords recently and sat in on it. And I assumed it would just be all these old farts farting and snoring. And it was... I'd spent sort of 15 minutes watching the House of Commons and it was a fucking bear pit. And then in the House of Lords, people were genuinely debating. Things were genuinely getting done. And I left there going, thank fuck we have this upper chamber. It was really... The House of Lords needs to be kept.
Fuck it. This guy's blowing my mind here. I don't know how to respond to these things. You're pleased about immigration going down? You're loving the Lords?
I know. What else have they done?
I think you
biggest upgrade to workers' rights in a generation. That's undeniable.
Yeah, but at what expense? Like, unemployment's gone down. If it means that less people get hired for jobs because they're worried about people being able to claim sick leave after the first 14 minutes of their shift, there is another side to that.
There is another side to that, but it's a working man thing. 5 million extra NHS appointments delivered, renters' rights, a lot of that, and it's like, oh, well, that's bad for landlords. Well, landlords have been they've been doing all right for a while.
I mean, look, I've got a friend who might own a rental property, and
it's a nightmare for him, but
that person,
yeah.
But you know what I'm saying. I think
is this part of your portfolio that we discussed?
All I'm saying is the way that they've done it. Like people with 10 properties are still doing great and can offset all their costs. And by the way, this started under the Tories. Tories started this train. What they're hitting once again is like that person that might have moved house and had to keep the old one because of a problem with the mortgage and then rented it out. They're hitting that person. That's my issue with it.
No, and there is something to be said for. People who were doing well but aren't really, really rich. It's people who were earning sort of 100 grand above that are getting absolutely smashed, but it's not people earning $250,000 above that are getting absolutely smashed.
Yeah, they're terrified of those people. So, yeah, I mean, we'll come to that with Burnham.
Isn't that weird? Terrified of people who are earning £250,000, but not terrified of people earning 60, 70.
Well, because the people with 60, 70 grand a year don't have the resources to move country. They're not as nimble. We'll come to that with Burnham now, I think. I think it's an interesting question with Burnham.
And also, one last thing, what I would say is you can see as an outgoing Prime Minister how little respect he clearly had in this country. But his little tour of Europe, his outgoing tour, and they are giving him fucking medals. Like all of them are just going, and he has clearly been looked up to on the international stage, and I think has actually been looked to for leadership. And that hasn't happened since we left.
I agree. I think that he talks their language. They like him. He might be
a technocrat.
Yeah, but, a NATO general and whatever. The only flag on the play with that is like, with your agent, what you don't want is for everyone to say that they love your agent. Right, so if everyone in Europe's going, we love Keir, I'm like, what's he giving them? Yeah, giving them Norfolk, has he?
Yeah, but all right. One of the first times, apart from that Oval Office bit where to Trump, and he was like, "Hello, here's a letter." You do the voice better.
I've got a letter from the king. Yeah. But, it entitles the bearer to queuge up at Windsor Castle.
But that was my joke. I love that. How is your career going to go when he's gone? Because this is all you've got, mate.
It's tricky. I mean, Starmer 1 rhymes with a lot of stuff. The voice. I mean, I've just realised you said it's all you've got. That's fair. A lot of people have asked me that question.
It took you a while for that to sink in.
Andy Burnham. I mean, I'm working on my Andy Burnham. And the thing about Andy Burnham is that he's intonation.
You're getting there.
I'm getting there. And also, I need to hear him more, and the public need to hear him more.
Well, I mean, that would be nice, wouldn't it? What, our new Prime Minister actually hearing from him, knowing a little bit about him?
Well, if he does any fucking interviews where he answers questions.
Probably moves us on to the next subject.
Okay, well, producer Will has said 7 minutes. Can I just say, because in the end, your list sort of included critiques, which was handy. My favourite moment, Starmer, and people, this might surprise people, is ID cards. Because it was quintessential Starmer. Whereas something that had polled well forever, right? Forever, over 50% of people were into ID cards. The moment this geezer mentioned it, everyone was like, "Oh, I don't know if he likes it." You know, it's like when the most unpopular guy on the stag do says, "Yeah, baby, we should go, do some paintballing," and like,
let's do an activity.
Yeah, let's do an activity.
If it's not hookers and cocaine, then we're not doing it.
But it was almost like, if you like it, maybe it's shit.
Yeah.
All right, so as promised, we're going to talk about Andy Burnham, who was at some sort of union meeting. They accepted that he'd won because there was only one challenger, and even then it was a joke challenger who didn't vote for herself. But let's ask this question. It's a broad question. What is an Andy Burnham? Because there's an old joke about Andy Burnham, which is that a Blairite, a Brownite and a Corbynite walk into a bar, and the barman goes, "What would you like to drink, Mr. Burnham?" Now, wah. But there's an interesting truth in that, is that he's already contorted through several eras, if we're going to use Taylor Swift talk.
Yeah.
What do you think his era is now?
Well, his era right now, this weekend, is still playing the north-south divide. He's your best mate. He's doing these incessant Instagram posts. It's like, come on, mate.
Yeah.
But come Monday, he's going to be Prime Minister, and he's going to have to grow up a little bit, I think. I don't really know anything about him. I would say he is charismatic. He is likable. Yeah. He does talk like a human being. I don't know if this was manufactured this week, but like his first, I don't know if it was his maiden speech, but this whole thing about Hillsborough sort of happened this week. I don't know if that was sort of manufactured or if it was always going to happen.
I do think, in fairness to him, that was a formative political moment because he wanted to be popular in that world. It was Merseyside, and he was getting booed by his people, in inverted commas.
Should we just explain it? Because I don't think people really understand this.
If you're watching abroad, so what happened was the Labour government, who are left-wing, who should have been more proactive in getting justice for Hillsborough, were actually quite disappointing to a lot of left-wing people. And
they just left them to it.
Well, I say left-wing people on Merseyside who were connected particularly with that tragedy. So he stood there to give an address on behalf of the government, and they booed him. So people
he knew that he was going out there to be, he could have not turned up, but instead he went in front of these Liverpool supporters and took it on the chin, but then became really a real flag bearer for getting justice for them, and really did achieve that. And that is an impressive and, like you say, formative moment. And one wonders whether one hopes that he can stick to that sort of set of principles.
Well, in the spirit of fairness, I think that legislation got through the back end of Starmer, and Burnham was part of that. They did something good there, in fairness.
Together, or at least it felt like manufactured, that they were on the same page.
It meant something to both of them. Yeah. I do think that. I mean, how Keir Stamer feels generally about Andy Burnham. You know what men's egos are like? A guy just came along, just stalked you for a while. Like those nature documentaries. I always feel so gutted for the alpha when they get deposed, and that little look when they're walking away, the little degraded look.
Watching the new ape fuck their wife. Do you know what I mean? Just fucking hell.
Also, and then also the deposed alpha going, this is going to be on Gogglebox, isn't it? There's going to be some barely scripted banner of someone go, oh, look at that, fucking, that's going to sting.
God.
Fuck off.
There's an image there of sort of, Stamer walking into the bedroom at number 10 and, just catching Burnham wiping his cock on the curtains and sort of just like, and then having to say, anyway, nice to,
all the best for the
all
future.
the best for the future. Yeah.
Yes.
It's all right, I'll deal with that.
Yeah. Can I keep the curtains?
That'd be a weird thing to say.
Zippy from...
I've got a theory. I don't think Andy Burnham is going to cope with being unpopular as well as Stamer, because he's had 10 years of smoke being blown up his arse. What happens, right? This is my big political analogy. What happens when someone blows smoke in his face?
Well, but if we just talk about what we were just saying, he was willing to go in front of that crowd and be unpopular, right? So maybe he does have some balls for it. I think what we're about to find out, though, is whether he's... what we really need is a political heavyweight in this country. And we need a bit of stability. And my one fear is that he's so sort of nice and affable and Instagrammable that he might be, a softie, that he might be a political lightweight. And that's exactly what we don't need. And party discipline, as we have found out, is massively important because it offers stability. Right?
So he has said that he's going to do away the whipping system, which is the system by which British political parties try and force
good fucking luck with that, mate.
Their members to vote in line with the government's wishes, but
the whip is annoying, right? And it makes us feel weird. It's like, what do you mean these MPs don't vote by their conscience? But it's the way a parliamentary political system works,
it's not, it's
how things get done. Because without that whip, things don't get done. And I think people. It is a fairly complicated system, the parliamentary system, but it is really fucking fair. It's one of the better democratic ways of being, rather than the way the States works or anything like that.
It's sort of like, I used to be a teacher, just give a moment for people to be mortified and horrified by that fact.
Yeah, awful.
But I've been a while out of the game, But, I did do supply teaching at schools where they were like,
oh my God,
we let the kids decide their own discipline. I was like, well, this is going to go horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to have some sort of rudder. And
also for a stand-in teacher.
Yeah.
You go, no, there's no discipline. They choose their own rules. You're like, are you fucking joking? You're up against it at the best of times.
One of the most terrifying things as a teacher is when you lose control of a class as a supply teacher, and then you call for the head of year, and the head of year, and you're expecting total cuck comes in. You're expecting to come some strong figure, and this guy called Scott comes in and goes, hello, and they all burst out laughing at the head of year. You go, well, this is fucked. Will Andy Burnham be the deputy head that all the kids call Scott?
Yeah, I reckon he could be a bit of a shit deputy head, and but I do think that I think this about Tory governments as well. I genuinely hope it works.
Oh, you got
genuinely hope.
If you like this country, if you're a patriot, and but.
If you're a true patriot, you want Burnham to succeed in many respects.
If you like this country, right, you have to want every British Prime Minister to succeed, even if it means I have less jokes to write. Do you know what I mean?
And certainly not embarrass us on the stage. You don't want that on the world. You don't want us to be, whereas, Truss, come on, man.
Can I make just a little prediction to close this? Is that Burnham, if he does go for a lot of soft left economic policies, but loads of them, which further squeezes the middle, I can see the fiscal Lib Dems peeling off a bit back to the Tories, and also the risk-averse reformers going back to the Tories. So, little prediction, I think this time next year, or maybe later next year, the Tories could be in the high 20s again.
Well, but if that is the case, I would welcome that. Again, I think a two-party system is better than a lot of people think it is.
We're quite small-C conservative, aren't we? Bring back the old order.
I think if Burnham does hopefully push Labour to the soft left, and then you have a centre-right party that's gone a little bit further right, and then actually it's much more interesting than it was, say, a decade ago, where it was centre-left, centre-right. It's like nothing to choose between the two. You've got actually a slightly further left, at least there's a fucking choice to be had, and hopefully Reform have just exploded in a puff of their own hubris and cryptocurrency shit.
I was never going to interrupt that analogy.
I wish you had, because you could see that I don't know where this sentence is going.
How many analogies and similes will we go?
It's that time of the show where we ask you to hit subscribe. What else can they do to help?
If you
plug this?
you might have hype points, so if you go down the comments bit, it will allow you to allocate them, and then there's some fucking leaderboard, and that helps.
We were
charts.
in the leaderboard for hypes last week. Is that correct?
The top 10.
Top 10.
There was another one in it that only had like 74 views. So I don't, listen. Let's just go with the
Doesn't mean
PR. It doesn't mean that much. But subscribe and tell. I still think tell people. I think that's the biggest single
if you can
thing.
be asked to just share it on your Facebook, on your Twitter, or your Instagram, or anything like that, or physically say it out loud if you're old school.
I think you would enjoy this.
I think
show.
you'd enjoy it. It's got Tom and Geoff in
Tory
it.
Prick. It's Thomathan Pye Walker. It's on. I know you've gone off topical comedy on telly, but it's on at Friday at 10 p.m.
Well, it's a good. If you've gone off topical comedy on TV, this isn't on telly.
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
really good.
Then now we could put you off topical comedy on YouTube as well.
Also, I'm on tour. You're going to Edinburgh. Should we put a little click in the thing below if you want to buy tickets for either of our shows?
Do that.
It's either there or it's down there.
Yeah.
Or it's there.
Okay, now it's time for the other stuff is showbiz. So we could really, I suppose, football, comes into showbiz here. We could talk about the World Cup, about England's.
Yeah.
Everyone said England's painful, distraught defeat. I was resigned. Was my emotion. Resignation.
I'm not into football, but obviously I followed the last few games of ours. It wasn't a shameful defeat. It wasn't like annoying like penalties, or it wasn't like Beckham kicking someone, or there were no red cards, or I don't think we got a red card.
No, there might have been for the Argentinians. I do think the Argentinians were the better side.
Messi, I can't believe I'm talking like this, but
None of us can.
Kept going to the same area of the pitch, and it kept happening, and you go, this is only a matter of time. This little set piece keeps happening, and
can I just say, if you notice that, and I mean that with all offence.
How come they didn't?
How comes Thomas Tuchel
It just
didn't
kept
notice
happening.
That?
And I was like, he's doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
It's going to go in.
Double up on him because it frees up someone else.
For Christ's sake, double up on him.
No, don't double up on him.
Don't double up on him. Soccer ball.
So it was, I kind of just thought, okay, we weren't good enough. And, the moment that you say, we should do a 1-0 up, we should bring on like a freak show giant and 7 defenders. I think you maybe deserve to lose if you're not willing to be positive in that. Can you imagine in stand-up, right? If you or I are having a great gig, we think, how can I not only take this, how can I make it better?
Bring on the cleaner.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine if you got to like 2/3 of your way through your gig and went, okay, bank, let's just sit back.
Yeah.
Let's just phone it in for the last half an hour. I mean, I have done that once at the end of a Fringe when I was
however,
man inside.
if we'd have saved both of those goals, and because we were just a fucking mass of defenders at the goal, we'd be saying the opposite, wouldn't we?
It could have worked, but it fucking didn't. The question I always got is obviously Wonderwall had a revival this summer, and if you could,
last summer.
Was it? Oh yeah, I forgot about last summer, but specifically that song this summer. How has that become the song of the summer? I mean, if you'd have offered odds, and I don't know who offers odds on these things, there's probably some crypto wanker that does, but the Wonderwall would become the song of the summer through football. Let's reflect on how unlikely that would have been.
Well, I think because last year Oasis have had their renaissance, right? So there's now not just our generation, but there's the young generation that know that song. It is, like every fucking Oasis song, a bit sing-alongable, right? I wonder if just in one of the stadiums someone started singing it, and then everyone picked up on it, and you go, well, that's it now. They
might have played it through the PA.
I think they might have done that as well. Yeah. So
do you think it was from like really stereotyping English people, where they were just going, what do they like? Chips? We can't play chips. Let's play Wonderwall.
Yeah, but stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason, aren't they? And particularly that football laddie culture.
Oh yeah. A sing-along. I mean, it gives us a chance to discuss the song in a way. I think Oasis's lazy lyrics have been known for a long time, and they're just plain odd. I mean, if you pick them out of context, they are weird. Like, there are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. I mean, it does feel like if you were being cruel, that's a description of Noel Gallagher's songwriting.
Yeah, but there's a rhythm to that. I can't believe I'm about to defend Oasis. There are many things that are, I mean, if you went to drama school like I did, I think it's iambic. None
of the lyrics sort of seem to connect to what went before. So I started doing a bit of research. What's it about? And the general perception is you're singing a song to your rock. Apparently it's about an imaginary friend. Wonderwall. I mean, that just makes it so much worse, doesn't it?
I mean, I'm one of these people that I rarely think or about lyrics when I'm listening to music. And sometimes when you do get a lyric of a song you've been listening to for 20 years and you're like, I had no idea it was that, or and you read a lyric and you go, oh, there's a story here. It's never occurred to me.
Yeah.
So actually, but for this sort of thing, it's not the lyrics so much that bother me about Oasis. It's just
the dirgy element.
They should be my sort of band, right? I love that 90s guitar band thing. I don't think I've ever put Oasis on. I don't think I've ever put it on.
I had
right?
the albums. I went to Nebworth. I probably feel relatively similar to you. It's just I get the cadence they choose, and they've said this, that they choose words because of how they sound, not because of what they mean.
Yeah, and that's fine. And
that's
if you look at a lot of the Beatles, particularly Beatles' late work, some of the lyrics, I mean, particularly John, he's just playing with noises and sounds, and it's all gibberish, but it sounds great. And particularly, all the weird, stuff, and he's just putting words together, but it's kind of a masterpiece. So
I do think that it opens a gate potentially into an interesting discussion here. Is that the 90s nostalgia is so high at the moment. Do we need to be honest with young people about which bits of the 90s were crap? Because this idea, like that kind of 6 months of optimism that we experience, makes up for the fact that the recession at the beginning of the 90s was brutal. The food was shit. The booze was shit. The fashion was shit. There was still a lot of violence. I was more scared to walk around London then than I am now.
Yeah.
Like London was so violent. I used to have to walk through one council estate.
It was a lot rougher, yeah.
Yeah. Like, so can we just, if there's any young people watching, just don't believe all of the hype, right?
There's something nice about a retrospect. I remember growing up in the 80s and thinking most of the stuff on, and I was never really into music as a young person, but that most of the music on Top of the Pops was a bit shit. And it's really nice looking back 30 years later. My relationship with music has changed quite dramatically in the last 12 months because I've got a decent record player, right?
Yeah.
So I'm starting to get a record collection together like everyone my age does.
Yeah.
But it means I've started listening to albums rather than songs, and I started to really get into some bands. But there's something nice about me now going through the 80s and going, my sister's really good at recommending stuff to me, and you go, oh my god, this is a banger, and through all the shit this album's a great one. And I think if you look back at the 90s, I find it actually quite amazing that people don't look back on Oasis and sort of go, oh, they weren't as good as I thought they were. And there are so many bands of that era that I think are so much better and should have stood the test of time.
There was good music around, but if you look at the charts during that period, for every Oasis there was a wannabe, right? Of every kind of Ocean Colour, they're a terrible example, but there was like a Barbie Girl. There was still a lot of poppy shit in the charts there. Now, if you look at the music that becomes popular now, maybe it's a bit sterile, but mostly it's quite credible and well produced.
But a lot of it does sound the fucking same, and it's all solo artists. There's very few bands that are making the top 10, and most of the bands on tour, most of the big tours are legacy acts.
But do you think that that's a consequence of just constantly consuming exactly the media that you want? I mean, it started with iPods and playlists. The idea of a collective has died really in the mind. You just want one person going, me, fucking me. I mean, that's every Taylor Swift song ever, isn't it? Me. Oh, here's a minor inconvenience or emotion that I felt. Let's make a 5-minute song about it.
I wonder whether there's an economic reason behind it as well, actually, to tour as a band and go to and gig as a band, and the amount of money you get paid as a band is nothing. Whereas if you're a solo artist, you can kind of be a bit more your own manager, and therefore I wonder whether...
You mean like a stand-up comic?
Whether a little bit, to be honest. That you, from a grassroots point of view, you're just looking after yourself. It's just me and my guitar, and you can do it.
Ed Sheeran's bottom line, I'd love to see. Like,
amazing.
Compared to he doesn't
a mic.
Do you reckon his main thing that he thought about was about overheads? Like before he really thought about songwriting, he was like, okay, look at that. That's that light. Let's just strip it all the way down.
And also, depending who he's playing with, he doesn't want to clash because he's so ginger. You wouldn't want to. Can we just finish this conversation with what would... Think of 2 or 3 bands, if you were to talk to the younger generation from that Oasis era, that you would recommend over Oasis.
Audio Web had one amazing album.
Okay,
I really like Dodgy.
Dodgy were quite good.
They had a little bit of fun about it, and Stone Roses, obviously.
My sister bought me the Stone Roses
Prodigy
album.
Everyone should.
They're slightly different. What I mean is, like, from a bandy point of view, Prodigy's a bit more clubby, right? But yeah,
neo rave punk rockers.
Yeah. I don't know. But this Stone Roses album I'm listening to is like a classic. The Verve, Richard Ashcroft, is an incredible band. And that album, Urban Hymns, still stands up. I love it.
We are serving up absolute spank bank material for the centrist dads at the moment. We just sit there going,
do you remember,
Verve, bloody great.
Bloody great. Do you remember a band called The Long Pigs?
I remember the name.
There's a great
Echo
album
Belly.
from them. Echo
Let's
Belly,
just name bands at this point.
But also, I think if it's a Manchester thing, the Happy Mondays is such a boogie. I mean, you're not listening. Such a boogie, such a fucking dad. Kill me.
So we've sat here.
Such a boogie.
Sorry, we've sat here and said that all music sounds the same.
I'm so angry at myself.
No. So you said, and I quote, all music sounds the same these days. You more or less said that. You did say that, and then you've also gone that they were a bit of a boogie, weren't they? I think if I was you, I want this to be in the final edit, but I'd get your lawyers on this. This should never go out for you. It's over for you. So, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
Yeah, that just escalated.
Just every now and then, I wish that all of my friends and family were dead, so that they didn't have to witness.
It was that bad.
What just happened.
It was that
Awful.
bad.
I'm never going to get laid.
I mean,
again,
from my point of view, it's laid as well. Jesus Christ. Okay, what some hip chicks come up? You're cool, Daddy-O. So this is the That Went Well bit, and we're going to talk about personal stuff.
How do you think it's gone? I think we've sort of finding our stride.
Yeah, I think it was interesting with the Wonderwall bit. I didn't know where it was going, but then just a chance to talk about 90s bands. I think that's going to play out well in the comments.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, they'll just be naming bands.
They will just be naming fucking bands.
Or insulting.
But also, I am trying to develop my vinyl. So, do put some, I might read them, I might not. But what are the absolute musts? I'm concentrating on 70s and 80s.
Yeah. What have you missed? We're going to talk about, how old are you again?
Oh, fuck. I am 48.
I'm 49, right?
Right.
So, let's just do that, right? So, I've got that going on. You've got a nice low hairline. This isn't a problem for you yet.
The hair's not the problem. Yeah.
No, the hair is not the problem. What is the problem?
I'm really not enjoying going grey. That's for sure. But it's fine. No, but it's a thing. I tell you what it is. I spent most of my life looking younger than I am. Mm-hmm. And something happened last year on my birthday, on my 47th birthday. I've spent my entire life going, how old do you think I am? How old do you think I am?
Yeah.
And on my 47th birthday, I asked someone, how old do you think I am? And he went, 47? It broke me.
Them thinking you were the age you were?
Yeah. I was just like, it's happened. And it's kind of weird. And I wonder whether I'm quite short, I'm quite small. I don't know if it suits older people as well. A friend of mine, me and my friend have got this phrase that we call twink death.
I know what you mean. There's no sadder death than the death of a twink.
I used to be, although I'm not that way inclined, but if I was that way inclined, I would definitely, for most of my adult life, would have been a twink.
Yeah. I know exactly
the twink in me has died. So it's like, at what age does that twink death occur? But shall I tell you, the thing that I've always had baggy eyes, I have not very good skin. I've got rosacea, so it's really red skin. So people just think I'm a fucking alcoholic. And the older I get, the more vain I think I'm starting to become. And I want to just say this without. I do know that women are judged to a much higher standard and a different.
We talk about that, please. Not about them tonight.
I think it's reasonable to say, because I don't want in the comments going, for fuck's sake, mate, blah blah blah. But the one advantage that women do have when they are getting older is, I'd love to be able to dye my hair. You
can. Is the first point. Yeah.
But if anyone,
I would destroy you if you dyed your hair.
You'd get destroyed, right? Yeah. Whereas there are very few women my age that you have noticeable grey hair, because it's perfectly acceptable. They can change their hair. And have you dyed your hair? Yeah, I've dyed my hair. With me, it's slightly different. If I had, not that I'm thinking of Botox or anything, but with some women you can see it. It's not necessarily a particularly attractive look, but you don't really judge them on it. A bloke where you can see it, it's a different type of thing.
It's deemed to be unmanly, among by me. But I think that so one thing about women and the hair colouring thing is it's so ubiquitous. Women will say absolute mind melters, like, I'm dyeing my hair back to its natural colour.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm out. Yeah. Right? But let's keep it focused on men, because they say, we are supposed to take more care of our appearance. For me, I've got a massive spam. People often quote the Bob Mortimer line, "A sniper's wet dream." You know, there's things like that. I'm aware, and it's like it's getting to Ant McPartlin levels.
But, but is it because you're receding?
Yeah. I mean, I started off quite high, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say this, that I am so happy that it's a full head of hair.
Well, how does that help me?
Compared to the grey.
That is like when you say you're insomniac and people go, "I sleep amazingly." You've just gone, can I just say how great it is to still...
No, because I'm looking at it now. I would fucking hate that.
Yeah. No, I don't love it. I don't love it. But here's the problem: is like the turkey hair, right? So if you go and you have your hair replacement brought down. I have issues with that because I sort of think, right, that male privilege, this is male privilege maybe we should keep, is that we don't have to do shit like that, all right?
Yeah.
And then my son would then know that I did that, so he'd think, is that just what men do?
Yeah.
And then the 6 weeks, have you seen people when they've had it done, where they've sort of got scars and blood, and that's so long to look in the mirror for me going, you pathetic little bitch.
The thing that ages me the most is that I am so worried about is my turkey neck. I would get that done tomorrow, as long as nobody noticed.
Well, I in the way that you didn't reassure me at all about my hairline, this stayed dark. But I get a lot of suspicion I'm dyeing it because the silver bit here, but
if you were dyeing it, you'd do the whole lot. No, I think that looks natural.
There you go. You know what else? This is quietly radical. This is men talking about our anxieties over our appearance. This is a very radical show.
I think it's also
way.
It's anxieties about age as well. I have noticed in my recent years, like I'm having to wear my glasses to read that. I fucking hate it because it ages me. I go to a restaurant, I can't read a menu.
Yeah.
I am seriously considering, before getting my turkey neck done, definitely consider getting laser eye surgery because these... Doing this every 5 minutes makes me feel old, right?
No, I've got.
Let me just. I hate it.
All right, can I tell you a quick story? Right, I went in. This is how bad my eyesight is. I went in for a meeting about a thing the other day, and the guy from the company was there, and it was in a glass office, and Chris Evans was there, like the Chris Evans. So because I didn't have my glasses on, I got near, and they were talking to each other, and I thought, they probably want me to go away for a while, and I thought Chris Evans went, "Come in." And I was like, cool, like maybe he's heard of me. Yeah. I walked in and then I realised he was going, give me 5 minutes. And then I just, in the moment, I got nervous. I went to shake hands like randomly into midair. So, yeah. Okay, there you go. A lot of counselling.
Awful.
A lot of counselling.
That's one of those, you're going to remember that in a few years.
I got embarrassed again. I thought I could tell that story and it was too soon. It was only yesterday. I'm not ready to be funny about it yet. Okay, there was a lot. I felt like that was a journey for both of us, that show.
It's weird. I never, when we get to the end of the show, this happened to me last week, I always think, what a mess. And then I look back on it and you go, she was all right. So I think tonight was all right.
That'll be Will.
Editing it out.
The edit. No, I thought you were very vulnerable today in a beautiful way. You put yourself out there, and in that encouraged me to share about my Chris Evans story.
Yeah,
right?
And your balding face.
Well, it's just there's another great Harry Hill joke. So I didn't go bald. I just noticed that it took me longer and longer to wash my forehead.
Very good.
You know, I'm stealing people's jokes.
No, you're wearing it well. I think. Also, imagine having the monk bald.
But there are people that will have that. You know, if we've got a predominantly male audience. But
sorry, guys, but
shame on them. It's horrible.
Don't go out.
Just
don't leave the fucking house. What are you doing?
Just wear a hat. We will be doing a Q&A one, so that'll be going out in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
So we will pick questions for that, but do leave them in the comment section. And that show, even if like this show is a topical show, that will always be topical because we're answering very broad questions. So if you're bored, just go and watch one of the Q&As.
Yeah. So check out the previous Q&A if you haven't already. But it's quite fun the Q&As.
Yeah.
Is that it though?
Yeah. Subscribe, like, hype. Share, tell people, say the words to people.
Well, until next week, though.
Well, that one.
Fucking.
Yeah.
Until next week, though.
Well
no.
Yeah.
Until that, and then I do.
It's the breath that leads it.
Until next week, though.
Well, that went well.
Fucking hell, Geoff.